You had the tough conversation. You were clear. You handed it off completely. But 2 days later, they were back. Not with progress, with questions you already answered. And somewhere in that moment, you thought, I just did this. I was thorough. I covered everything. You did, and it still broke down. Today, I'm going to show you exactly where that conversation fell apart and the 3 specific moments where even a good handoff stops transferring ownership. Last week, I gave you the ownership transfer framework, the 4 elements that closes the context gap between what you hand off and what actually gets done. Today, we're going to go deeper because knowing the framework and running it well are 2 different things. I'm going to show you the 3 moments where that conversation breaks down and what to do when the person across from you has been coming back to you for a really long time. See, early on, I thought if I covered the right things in a handoff, I was done. I was organized. I was thorough. My team still came back. Not because the framework was wrong, because I was filling in every blank for them. I wasn't transferring ownership. I was just delivering a more organized version of the assignment. The conversation looked right, but nothing actually transferred. I worked with a chief of staff at a fast-growing company, sharp, extremely systems-minded. 6 weeks into running this conversation consistently, escalations went up, not down. So I sat in on one of her conversations. Outcome, she defined it. Authority, she drew the line. Context, she set the doc. Checkpoint, she set the date. Everything technically correct. Her team walked out organized, still dependent. She was doing the thinking for them. That's the trap. See, the conversation looked right, but if you're the one filling in every blank, nothing actually transfers. See, the job isn't to walk them through it. Your job is to pull the thinking out of them before you walk out of the room. There are 3 specific moments where most leaders lose the handoff even while they're running. Moment 1, you define success and move on. You say what done looks like. They nod. You think it landed, but it didn't. See, they walked out with their version of what you said, not yours. So I want you to ask them to say it back to you before you move on. For example, like, what are you going to deliver and by when? If what comes back isn't what you meant, you just saved yourself 3 weeks of work heading in the wrong direction. If you skip that question, you're going to find out at the deadline. Moment number 2, you hand off the work, but keep the judgment. See, they can execute, they can't decide. So every time the work hits a real moment, they stop, they wait, they come back. You gave them the task, but you kept the thinking. That's not a handoff. That's an assignment with extra steps. And moment 3, you set the check-in, but you never named the trigger. What do I mean by that? Every small uncertainty feels like a reason to come back to you. So one question closes most of that. What would happen for you to come back to me before next Friday? See, most of the time they already know the answer. But if you don't ask, they'll come back anyway because you never told them they didn't have to. I want you to go back to your last handoff. I want you to pick one that broke down. I guarantee you one of those 3 things I just mentioned is where it fell apart. See, here's the situation no one talks about. What do you do when the person across from you has been dependent upon you for a really long time? If you run their standard conversation with someone like that, it's not going to land. The structure is right, the relationship's going to override it. So I encourage you to start smaller than what currently feels right in that moment. Find one decision they've been bringing to you, something low stakes enough that a wrong call is still recoverable. Have the full handoff conversation on just that one decision. Define what done looks like, what calls they own, and when you'll check in. Then stay out of it. I know this might feel slow. It's not slow. It's the only way to move someone whose default is to always wait for you. Here's where it starts to happen, and it's usually around 30 days in. They stop asking if they can, and they start asking if it was the right call. And that's the moment you're looking for. That's the shift you want to see happen. See, asking permission means they still don't trust their own judgment, but asking for your read or perception after the fact means they've already acted on their own. That's a completely different person, and you won't see it unless you give them the space to become it. If you do this consistently for about 30, 60 days, I guarantee the relationship will change. They'll stop needing you to decide. They'll start choosing to bring you in. That's the difference between a team that can't function without you and a team that runs and invites you into the conversation that they actually need you. So think about the most dependent person on your team right now. When was the last time you handed them a real decision and stayed out of it long enough for them to actually make it? If you can't name it, guess what? They can't either. If you're ready to elevate your leadership brand, influence, and impact, I've got something for you. Download my free ebook, The CEO Shift: How to Empower Your Leaders to Think Like Entrepreneurs and Lead Like Owners. Inside, I'll walk you through how to elevate your leadership, how to drive alignment, and how to build a high-performance team that truly owns the mission. If you're not quite ready for that, that's cool. Then let me send you a signed copy of my book, Freedom to Experiment. It's all about reigniting energy, sharpening focus, and building momentum that lasts. I'll cover the cost of the book. All I ask is for you to handle shipping. Hit the link in the description if you're interested, and our team will take care of the rest. If this message hit home today, here's how you can help others find it too. First of all, give this video a like, drop a comment below related to your business, and of course subscribe, because every week I'm sharing strategies to help you and your team embrace change, focus your efforts, and accelerate results. Remember this, you're just one idea away. I'll see you in the next video.